That's Michelle Einstein's Songbird Song. I am mainstreaming clues to the marginalized. Okay? According to the dictionary, niggardly means stingy, miserly. Stingy means close, niggardly, parsimonious, miserly, mean, being unwilling or showing unwillingness to share with others. Okay, so I have an early Christmas present for certain people. Eve asks, want me to tell you why certain people, are poor? The law of attraction. You reap what you sow. You attract to yourself what you are. If you are stingy, if you are miserly, if you are niggardly, if you are mean, if you are unwilling to share, then that's what you get. That's what you are. So that's what you get. I live in the poorhouse. Yet, my daughter Melanie sent me a microwave and a refrigerator so I could store my food and have plenty to eat. My other daughter, Robin, sends me roses for Mother's Day, expensive pop-up cards that I love, fresh food from Whole Foods, and expensive vegetarian hot dogs from Amazon.com. Neither of them have a lot of money, but they share with their mother. And my son sang when I was when he found out I was homeless. He had me come and stay with him for months in his one-bedroom apartment. He gave me the bedroom with the TV and the bed, and he slept on the floor in the living room for months. You see? Oh, so I live in the poorhouse. Yet my father, King George V, Milton Harris, looked at the walls and doors of photos taped to them that I have here in my room and said, "You have a rich life." I said, "It's a museum. Each photo represents a story, mostly a positive story." I look at these pictures and I don't feel sorry for myself. I feel comforted with the memories and the dreams of future interactions with them. You see what I'm talking about? These are people who I had mostly positive interactions with. And so, instead of getting depressed, because I live in this tiny, tiny room, I made this room magical. It's filled with wonderful visions. See? It's a museum. Dave Roberts said to me, he's a resident here also at the St. Francis of Assisi Residence 3 in Chelsea, New York City. Dave Roberts said to me, "You are the best tipper in the world," when he goes to buy me an Indian meal from the Indian restaurant, my favorite food. I give him the $10 for the meal. Then I give him another $10 for him to buy himself a meal. That's why he thinks I'm so generous. Knowing my desire to give, to share, having read my mind, my master Charan Singh said, "Why not want a lot of money so you can help a lot of people?" How did he know I wanted money to help my mother? Because she didn't want me, and she told me when I was 4 years old she had never wanted me. She had tried to kill me, but she still took care of me and worked, and so I wanted to repay her. So when she was reborn as my granddaughter, I didn't know right away, but pretty soon my husband, Michael Spear, and I figured out that's my mother. Jandara Michelle Renziger is my mother. Miss Frog, Corinne Beatrice Crowder, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. She was also Rosie the Riveter, and she was Shirley Temple, and she was the guru Baba Jamal Singh. So what happened was my husband wanted me to mortgage the co-op so he could go into business for himself as a realtor, online realtor. So I felt that he should be able to have his own business rather than work, a job. So that's what I did. So there was money. So I used some of the money to enrich Jandara's life because her mother brought her into Manhattan to our apartment on the weekends. So I took Jandara to art lessons, and she was a very young child, music lessons at the Y, and swimming, and we took her to the park regularly, and I bought her handmade clothes, and we took taxis so she wouldn't have to stand and wait for buses. So, in other words, I was able to give my mother, who was reborn as Jandara, a rich life for as long as she was in Manhattan. Then Melanie moved them to Colorado. So, basically I'm saying, and Tony Robbins says generosity, no, he says, what does he say? Gratitude. Gratitude is the secret of wealth, because I know why he said that, because you attract to you what fits you, what you are. So if you are a grateful person, you attract to you what a grateful person deserves. Something to be grateful for, in other words, you see. That's how come that works that way. Now these certain people who are poor are stingy. Melanie worked at Denny's restaurant, and she said when this group of people come in, none of the waitresses wanted to wait on them because they don't tip. Can you imagine? They don't tip. And Singh's godparents, they asked me if they could be the godparents, and I said okay. And so at Singh's birthday party, she opened the birthday card from them, and it was $10. And one of the little kids from Singh's private school said, "Cheap, cheap." It was hysterical. It was so funny because it was so true. Because these people have money, and they gave Singh $10 for his birthday. And Sting went to school at St. Luke's. He got a scholarship to go to St. Luke's private school in the West Village. And those kids, one guy gave him a $62 pair of sneakers. Excuse me. As a birthday present. And then he's just a schoolmate. And then the godparents are giving him $10. That's ludicrous. But that's what I'm saying about the certain people do. That's what they do. So, I think that's all I'm going to talk about. Oh, I know I could finish this. I wrote, I'm not a nigger anymore. I never was really, but I have volunteered to be a nigger to protect Stokely Carmichael's reputation. He was my boyfriend for a brief period in the 60s. And he took me, I was an airline stewardess, and I volunteered at the SNCC office, the civil rights organization, to help get equal rights for, black people. So he took me to this fundraiser, and there was this middle-class looking lady, and she said to Stokely, "Is she white?" Talking about me, right? And I said, "No, I'm a nigger like you is." And so she said, "I am not a nigger. I'm not so what I is." I know Stokely thought, what is going on? I don't know this girl. She never was like this before. What? I don't understand. What happened was, when she said, "Are you white?" I didn't know. I didn't want them thinking that he brought a white girl to the fundraiser, because it was about unity and and loving being black and loving each other and like that. I guess that's where they were coming from. So Leon was a friend of the family's, an older guy, but he looked white, but he was black. And he said he was in the South. He lived in the South. We lived in Tennessee, but he went down further south, Mississippi perhaps, or Georgia, someplace like that. And he was going to go into this bar, and they all got quiet when he came in the door. They were black people. They called colored people or Negro people. So they all got quiet when he came in, and he knew they think I'm white. So he said, "Nah, I'm a nigga like you is," But that was the way he really talked. That's not the way I really talk. So I must have sounded ridiculous. But I shut her up talking about, "Are you white?" Even if I was white, what would be wrong with that? White people helped SNCC a lot in the beginning, Jews particularly. Okay, so the reason why I say I'm not a nigger anymore is because niggardliness is stinginess, and I am not stingy. I know that I'm not stingy because I like to give. It makes me very happy to make somebody happy who just helped me out, somehow. So that's why I know I'm not a nigger anymore. And I never was. But, you go to great lengths to try to fit in sometimes. That's why it's very freeing when you stop caring what people think of you and just go ahead and be who you are. Realize your own potential. Okay, so that's your early Christmas present. Certain people, if you hear it and benefit from it, I hope you do. Open up your heart. Stop being stingy. Attract the good life. All right, so long. Michelle Einstein, Songbird Song, signing off for now.